had a website, but it was almost like a vanity project back then. Now it is like an entrance fee to have a business.
Good. Hey, I wanted to let you know that the Google guarantee, the Google ads, man, I'm getting 12 to 16 calls a week.
My goal is at least do 10 to 15 more years, grow it up, sell it for 40, 50 million, maybe more.
Hi, I'm Sam, an engineer at Topline Pro, and this is Titan Talks. This week, we're talking to Noah Leach from SwiftServe. How you doing, Noah?
Doing pretty good, Sam. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for taking the time and jumping on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we usually start off with just asking people how they got started in the industry. What's your origin story?
Yeah, I feel like mine's kind of unique. I didn't grow up doing traditional like blue collar work or anything. I went to college for marketing. I did, paid ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, all that stuff for 5 years. And then when me and my family we moved to Coeur d'Alene, I got laid off from my day job. And then had a wife and kid to provide for and bills to pay. Um, and I saw a guy out near Seattle on TikTok making good money cleaning moss off roofs and washing houses and all that stuff. And I was like, hey, I could do that too. So I spent kind of our rent money to, in hopes that it could get this thing going. And thankfully, like almost well over a year and a half later, it panned out for the better. So yeah.
So had you ever done it before when you decided that you were going to try to make money that way?
No, yeah, I still remember my first job. I would like, because I did desk work stuff and like so I was used to kind of sit behind the computer doing all that stuff. And the first job took me so long to do. I was like so tired the next day. Like I was just like, but the fact I sounds bad, but the fact I convinced someone to pay me money to do like cleaning or their roof and gutters, I was like, this is pretty cool. Like I know this can be, you know, a long-term business. And I think and I think it's gonna work out. So
It's really interesting to me that it's a very unique story coming from desk job digital marketing, and the marketing that you do now it's really good. I've seen your videos, your content, it's very high quality, and hearing that that's how you kind of got into the business in the first place is like through TikTok. Do you feel like it all kind of ties together in your success now?
yeah, I think so. It just yeah, like I kind of bet on myself with this and I was like, all right, if I spent the last 5 years, creating these ads to get clients for my companies I was working for, I feel like I should be able to do the same thing for my own business. Yeah, within 6 hours of me running my first ad, I got my first lead and it just cascaded from there. And yeah, for then creating the content, like, what drew me into that guy's content, like now him and I are pretty good friends. But he does like kind of the time lapse satisfying, whether it's like gutter cleaning or moss removal or whatever. And so try to kind of emulate that. And those tend to work out as the best, ads for people to see because they're engaging, they're interactive. And then, people want that service. So
That's a really good point. I feel like power washing is a service that lends itself really well to the before and afters. Like before I was even working in the home services industry, I was watching videos of like people power washing their patio or, whatever. So, yeah, it's really interesting that you mentioned that. And it seems like you've expanded to quite a few services that you offer now.
yeah, no, I like just started with like just roof and gutter cleaning. I didn't even want to do windows. I didn't want to do power washing, nothing like that. But then the springtime came around and my clients were like, hey, do you do windows as well? And I was like, I kind of started my business by just saying yes. So I was like, yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, now I'm at the point where I've kind of honed in my services. So mainly doing like the roof and gutters, the pressure washing, house washing, windows, and then Christmas lights, and then permanent lighting. It's kind of the well-rounded services there.
It seems like the holiday lighting is a pretty big part of the business, at least to judge from the marketing content. Is that true?
Yeah, it's massive. And it's such like a short window. I mean, I've been doing installs since second week of October. Mainly just because it's going to snow and winter's coming, like where I live. Today is going to be probably in the 30s and raining. So just, I don't like to do those jobs in this weather, but that's why I was trying to get people to do it, as early as possible. But yeah, it's a pretty lucrative business. And most people don't want to hang lights on their house, and then it just like looks really nice compared to like doing your DIY, way of putting up lighting and having a pro do it. It's kind of just day and night from like the quality, the way it looks. Um, yeah.
Is the thought process on that basically like, I already have the skills and like I'm already up on people's roofs, I might as well install some lights while I'm up here?
Yeah, it was kind of like a little bit of that. And then one of the like groups I joined, kind of like community groups of other home service business owners, like the guy who kind of runs it was like, hey, you got to get into the temporary, Christmas lighting and stuff. And like I never thought this was a service that people you can make money, or I personally never thought this was knew about this as a service. And then now being in it, like I see it like it's everywhere. Like, there's companies who do like city halls or towns, or and then people can go like some of my clients, they go like all out, or I've seen other displays that are, across the country that are pretty crazy. So it's just, yeah, and then that helps too. I'm already up on roofs, so like I already have that comfort level of, being on 20, 30 feet up in the air, on the roof, or a steep pitch roof in weather. So I'm kind of already have that experience. And yeah, and just kind of and then also providing that is just, I call it service stacking, but to be able to offer multiple service throughout the year just gives your customer a better experience. You can do stuff in the spring, the summer, the fall, and the winter for them.
Gotcha. So let's talk a bit about, because you've mentioned it a couple times, and I know it's sort of a big part of your business, but the networking, all of the different groups that you are a part of, how did you come to those, and what part do they play in your life and in your business?
Yeah. So the first group, yeah, a guy out in Seattle, he kind of had like a Discord channel of this other, kind of predominantly like young guys just trying to either like there's sometimes some high school kids, college kids, whatever, who are looking to just better their situation, maybe not go the traditional college route, and it's just nice being in a group of people like who have the similar mindset and like also just want to win. Like having, because being a business owner can sometimes be lonely because you're like at a certain level and stuff, and dealing with other people who are kind of going through the same thing and stuff is great. And then the nice thing is too, just it's pretty open, so you can, if someone's got a question on a specific thing of how to do this or how to interact with this client or how to do that, like it's really nice and you can get a lot of feedback. We have like weekly calls just to kind of bounce ideas, like how to hone in our craft. And then I joined another one that kind of has more like, it's actually a guy based out of Canada. And he kind of has like a whole university for home services called Home Service University. It's got like a ton of tens and tens of hours of like how to dive into each service product and how to like execute it, how to like do the sales, how to do this. And so same thing, he's got like kind of an app thing online you can chat, and then we have like 2 calls a week for that as well. And it's just been nice being around other people kind of in North America who are, doing the same thing. And like, people will post their wins. So if, you closed a big client or had a big week or a big month, like, you kind of post in there and celebrate that win for everybody. Yeah. So it's really cool to kind of be around that. And I've learned so much from other people across the country, even just how to price certain jobs, how to like install, this unique situation, or how to deal with this client who, said this or whatever. So that's been huge and kind of able to accelerate the business.
I mean, it sounds incredibly beneficial to your business, and it also kind of sounds social. I mean, you mentioned you're like developed friendships with some of these people?
Yeah. Cause yeah, I'm like the guy in Seattle, I did like a home show, like a trade booth here back in March in Coeur d'Alene. He like drove out to come check it out. So, it was kind of cool to meet him in person. And then my wife and I, we went out to Seattle and we like stayed with them. And then kind of between the two different groups, several people who I knew, like we all went to the huge convention in Nashville, actually where met Topline.
Yeah.
So it was like even more fun to meet everybody in person and kind of learn at the convention and just yeah. So it's like kind of went from this online group to then meeting people in person and being friends, and it's yeah, it's really cool.
Were there any fun stories from meeting up at the convention that are
Yeah.
podcast worthy?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one of the nights we went to Broadway and like we all took turns riding like the mechanical bull. So I guess whoever like had the lowest time had to buy everyone a round of shots. So I guess that was pretty fun. But but yeah, it was fun just kind of meeting everybody and yeah, just kind of especially in that kind of conference things. 'Cause I went to conferences for my other job and like, I don't know, you went like coworkers and like it is what it was. But like going with like other business owners who, like you kind of have known almost for 2 years, it just was kind of fun to finally meet in person and you know, yeah.
It sounds very fun. Uh, so looking at your business today, like where would you sort of place yourself on your business journey? Like where are you at now and what do the next 5 to 10 years look like for you and SwiftServe?
Yeah. Feel like I'm still a little bit kind of in the beginning stages, but I'd say it's not a hobby. This is like a true business. So I feel like I'm at a point revenue wise, I'm making pretty good revenue and profit. Um, but the next step for me, I think, is to just spend a lot of the winter time where I can't work to build in automations, kind of like automate some things that I'm kind of doing a lot just myself, and then also try to hire and scale the company because right now it's just my brother and I who work, which has been great. So having the two people helps out a ton. But I think for me, if I could get off of working the physical jobs most of the time, I think that'd be a huge way to then grow the business. And then, yeah, 5, 10 years, like I'd love to, have a couple crews doing the work. Who knows? Maybe I can, yeah, because then I can focus on bigger like vision and dream things for the company. I personally like doing the sales and the quoting, so that's something I kind of want to aspire to maybe solely focus on, and then have other people do the work. Yeah, so I feel like I'm kind of in this transition tipping point of like it's so much work for just myself and maybe my brother, that I like, and I'm getting too much work where I need to kind of scale to the next level, and so I feel like it's a good problem to have, but it's kind of in that transition. It's like I don't want to hire too quickly where then, if there's a bad month or whatever, then I can't sustain the work. But it's yeah, so it's a lot of like in between, I think, period. So
I'm interested what do you like about doing the sales and quoting?
I don't know. I just like a lot of my friends from my college and even high school, they're like, you always like I always sell things. Like if there's something I find that I like or I if I do or if I'm passionate about it, like I just will sell it really well. And I just like the customer interaction experience. Like, I meet so many unique people each and every day. And like, yeah, the work is fun. Like I like getting out there, like doing the work. It's satisfying. But like my big passion is just, yeah, interacting with the clients, making sure that they're taken care of, how to like best, what can I do to best suit their needs? And then, yeah, just kind of closing those deals. Yeah, it's fun. It's every person's different. You have to kind of use a lot of skills to like read them and how to like navigate them and ask good questions to, you know, really dive into why they're reaching out to you. And yeah, it's just yeah, because I just like talking to people. So I think that's kind of yeah, my big things.
I'm sure you get a lot of repeat customers because of your sort of focus on people.
Yeah, no, it was great. Like a lot of my spring clients came back again for like I did spring cleanup or whatever for them. They came back in the fall for getting the leaves off their roof and gutters. And then, most of my current clients for either like the temporary lights or even permanent lighting is have come from past clients as well. So it's yeah, and that's a big thing too, is like once someone trusts you as a company, like they'll tend to do work with you um almost forever unless something happens. So
Yeah, absolutely. Um, All right, so jumping back, we were talking about kind of the future plans for you and for SwiftServe. What role do you feel like technology plays in allowing you to scale the way you want to scale?
Yeah, I think technology is like the key, or if not like it's like one of the most crucial things to scale a business, especially in today's world. And if you're not using technology, especially in this industry that's traditionally just very like pen and paper, kind of maybe guys who've been doing it decades kind of stuck in their ways. And like I've noticed a huge like influx in business and just efficiencies by just taking those small steps and leveraging technology to just do like help my business move further without having to do too much work myself. And so like as we go like things like AI and automation, that's gonna like put you or like anyone who does like home services like kind of light years ahead other competitors who may have just you know again just doing like the pen and paper, the kind of basic stuff. And so it's great. Kind of having that online presence is huge now. Like most people like look up a business on their social media before they will buy from them. So kind of building that even online rapport before like someone will come to you is pretty key.
That's a very wise marketing answer. Let's talk a little bit more about marketing. So can you kind of expand on that? For people who don't have a background in marketing, I would say what you're describing there is like your relationship with the customer starts before you even talk to them, before they call you. Why is that important, and how does it lead to more leads, more satisfied customers, etc.?
Yeah, like and that like even goes down to just like it even kind of starts the brand. So that's so like kind of how I name my company, even like the brand I have. Like it's I I spent like the time and I maybe money I didn't have to like to develop this brand. And well, actually I met a guy here in town who was super cool, and like he does branding for quite a while. And so I was able to get a brand with him. And like I knew with my marketing background that you know brand, like your name, your image, your colors, like even that is huge for people. Like if you have, something that looks like it was made in the 90s or 80s or whatever, like especially in today's kind of digital world, like people aren't gonna, not know if that's like legit or if it's real. And so having like a good brand where it's like the the hat, the clothes you wear, your wrap truck, your quotes, your online presence, like everything is in sync. Which is what I have like between the colors, the messaging, the tone, like, everything is super cohesive across the board. And then that for a customer just shows like, you're a real company, you take things seriously. And then you can even kind of show your personality and like that kind of thing through your online presence too. And so it's almost building like that digital rapport. Um, and just enhancing your customers' journeys. So if they see maybe you like your truck out in the streets, or they see like maybe an ad on Facebook your business, and like they've never heard of your business or they don't know what you're about, you're probably gonna look up on Instagram or Facebook or Google or whatever. You're gonna pop up, you're gonna see your website, they're gonna like learn more about you. And like so all that stuff is like super critical. And if any of those pieces are kind of missing and like it's not there, or if it doesn't explain something well, or if it like looks not professional, they'll like customers will probably judge like, all right, if they can't create, like a professional looking website or professional looking social profiles, like how can I trust them to like hang up my lights or, do this service on my house? So even that type of digital first impression is huge.
I'll take that opening. So how does Top Line Pro fit in to all of that for you?
Yeah, I mean that's that was the that was probably one of the biggest things. Like I created like just a basic website on Squarespace. It like looked honestly pretty it looked pretty bad. Like it was I mean it was okay, but like it wasn't anything special. I'm not a web developer. Um and like I knew the importance of good web design and development because like I have friends who do that for their careers. And like but I just couldn't afford, how expensive a true custom website, let alone that's like optimized for SEO like cost. And so finding a solution that was like just, more kind of a more affordable monthly payment, but also like a company that like did more than just create a website. Like, and that's what kind of really drew me to the top line of meeting them at the trade show booth was, you can have the website, it's all optimized. Like one, it like looks really cool. Like all my clients and even friends are like, yeah, your website looks really awesome. And just it flows well. And then just like the back end SEO, like I've seen my ranking go from non-existent to like now I'm ranking even as close as like top 3 or 6 or whatever on Google for some of my services. And I've only been using this for like 3 months, so it's been such a short window to do that. And then also like the automated social media posting, blog writing, like again, traditional things. If you pay for a website and then you pay someone to do that, and then you pay someone to do this, so it gets it gets pretty expensive if you do all these things. And so by having all of that just under one platform, yeah, it was huge. And kind of back to what I was saying, like if I when I sell sell things, that's like I'm trying to get like a lot of some of my friends and stuff in the groups like who have been burnt by other marketing companies and stuff who do websites to kind of bring them onto top line because it's a great option for kind of a young startup business and everything, or
And
even more established business who is looking to kind of change their processes.
we definitely appreciate the call out that you give us. So that's a good segue too, I think, because I think a lot of business owners in your position don't take the same approach of networking and putting themselves out there, going to trade shows. So besides just doing that and getting involved with the community, what advice would you have for business owners who are just starting out and just basically trying to make ends meet and trying to succeed? Like what helped you get there?
Yeah, I think for me, I think it was like a lot of mindset. Like for me, I was like, all right, I like kind of poured everything into this, and I knew there was like no option for failure for me. Like I, wanted to make it work. Most businesses fail within the first year, and yeah, that first year was hard. So if you can just get past the first year, it'll be huge. And then I think another thing too is like kind of because within the home services, there's so many different product offerings you can do. Um, and you might offer like a product that like it doesn't really exist in your specific, area within the US. So like trying to think like so for example, if you're in like I don't know, like so I moved to Coeur d'Alene from Colorado, so I used to live in Colorado. And if I were to try to do like moss removal in Colorado, like it wouldn't work because that's not the right climate for moss. Like moss really only grows on roofs kind of in the Northwest and the Northeast. And so if someone, someone in maybe down south is trying to push that or whatever, it's not going to work. And then kind of same with like I do quite a bit of pressure washing up here, but it's not nearly as big as maybe someone in the Southeast, like Florida or Texas or wherever, like where they have like the massive skids and rigs and like that's like all they do is pressure washing. Where I do like some of it, but people up here I've learned more like kind of they like resealing their concrete or their exposed aggregate or pavers. And so I think that was a big thing too, is like even if you have a service you really want to push, like I would kind of spend maybe a few days like door knocking, seeing what your clients want. Because they'll tell you what services they need, and then that's a great way to kind of build your business for success. Like because you want to like serve the need, you don't want to like create a demand if it's not there.
That's really smart. Fitting the business to what people are demanding, I think is a really, really smart way to go about it. And I want to ask about Coeur d'Alene. I mean, looking at the pictures, it looks absolutely beautiful. I'm like, should I be moving to Idaho? Like, what's the area like? Like, I'm seeing a lot of like pine trees and just like the moss, even the shots of moss, like on the shingles. Like, it still looks very, very
Yeah.
beautiful. So yeah, what's it like there?
Yeah, no, I mean it's yeah, it's probably one of the most beautiful places in the country. No, it's awesome. And you're kind of mixed with with like pines as you're heading into the mountains, and you have these lakes. So like a lot of the homes I do just have fantastic lake views, especially from the roof. Yeah, it's kind of a smallerish town, only like 50, 60,000 people or something. So you kind of get that like small town community vibe, but like they have, a lot of stuff you need. So I always kind of point at like, Coeur d'Alene has everything you need and nothing you don't. So it's kind of like a good, in between. It's got all the essentials you need, but like doesn't have anything you wouldn't, you would miss or whatever. But yeah, it's great. People are beyond friendly. Like the amount of times I've done interior window cleaning, like they've given me their garage and gate access code, and I've never met them. Like just blind trust is insane. Um, but yeah, like it's beautiful. Like there's tons of homes from, sometimes it's like kind of you'll see the fog rolling through the mountains, you see like the leaves changing on the hillside, like you're up on a roof, it's peaceful, it's quiet, it just you smell the fresh pine on like a brisk morning. It's a pretty awesome place to live.
Wow. Look at you coming up with a marketing slogan for Coeur d'Alene as we're talking. Like, what was it? It
Yeah.
has everything you need and nothing you don't.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. That's what I tell my friends like when they come visit. I'm like, this is Coeur d'Alene. So,
That's awesome. Um, okay, so are you up for a little rapid fire to sort of wrap things up? I'll just ask questions quick and come up with a
yeah.
quick answer. Okay. Uh, what's the biggest mistake you've made, and what did you learn as a result?
Ooh, good question. Let's see. I feel like I've had a lot. I guess this one, it was like one of the first days with my first employee. It was like ground cleanup. So like ground cleanup is a big thing. Like, this lady had, pounds and pounds of pine needles. We blew it off. Like it was the first day with not my brother, but my previous employee. And it was the kind of the first day I was like, all right, I'm gonna trust him to like do all the cleanup or whatever. And like I kind of walked around. I thought it was okay, and got a text later. She was not happy. Thankfully I was able to kind of resolve it, give her a discount for other services. But yeah, I think just kind of as I'm hiring and scaling, I'm gonna have to like always double check work or even communicate clear with clients like, hey, it's kind of a new situation, stuff might happen or whatever. So I think yeah, it kind of goes into like, yeah, double checking the quality of the work from especially from employees, but also communicating with clients effectively. Yeah, I think yeah.
Good one. What is your goal with all this? Why would you say you're doing this?
Yeah, I think main goal is to just provide a better future for my family than maybe I grew up with in my situation. And two, like we have a one kid right now. Hopefully we want more in the future. And my goal is to, by the time that my kid or, hopefully kids are in the age where they're doing sports and activities, like the business can be just fully self-sufficient, sufficient. I can step away and like attend their sports, their practices, their music events, like do all that kind of stuff. And then I have to like be in the grind of working every day. So
Yeah. So you mentioned like before you were like the group of people at the trade shows, like they're people who like want to win. It seems like there's a competitive nature to running your own business. Would you say you're a competitive person? Did you grow up playing a lot of sports?
yeah, I grew up playing soccer, and then I ran track, and yeah, yeah, I was pretty competitive. Sometimes I was almost like too too competitive. I feel like as I've gotten older, I've kind of like, at least from the sports aspect, I've dialed it back. But yeah, you're right now with business. Like there's one guy actually up in Canada. He's maybe only a couple hours away from me. And him and I this year we kind of like, he would like share a win in spring, and I try to like match it or beat it, or we were trying to hit like monthly revenue targets. And the funny thing is when I pointed this out one time, but we both hit like kind of the same revenue like targets in like think like June or something. And then and we're all like, "That's great." And then I did the conversion. I was like, actually, like you're if I did what I did in Canada, like it would be it'd be up here, and and so I was like the conversion rate. So actually, I did beat you. So that
That's
was
awesome.
pretty funny.
Showing them the numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really fun. Okay, so continuing on the theme of competition, do folks in Coeur d'Alene get competitive with the Christmas light displays?
Yeah, I think so. There's certain neighborhoods that people like go really all out. I actually give a quote for this guy, yeah, him and like his neighbor kind of just across the street, like, yeah, he was mad because he's like, yeah, this guy always does this, and he like set it up super early, and like, I guess, yeah, he was complaining because that guy already put up all of his Christmas while his Halloween stuff was still there, and like, and so he was, he was like, I want to beat him and do all this crazy stuff, and like, he actually ended up not going with me just because I don't know, but like, but yeah, like you sometimes see those neighbors who like, it's kind of like Clark Griswold, he wants to keep taking the next step. So
Yeah, I saw that you mentioned the Griswolds, or you name dropped them in your Christmas season sort of marketing video.
yeah,
So for the listeners out there, if you haven't seen it, it's up on Noah's social for SwiftServe, but it's like a video. It's a really great video, like very well put together, and he's in like a Santa hat and promoting the like Christmas lights services. Can you just tell me about that video from conception to like reality?
yeah. So I have a buddy here who does like photo and video work. That's like his business, and so him and I kind of exchange work. Like, so I put the lights up on his house in exchange for the video.
Nice.
So it was great. I was like, hey, I wanted to create this video. I wanted to tie into like a slogan of like, because the Griswold house, was very chaotic all the time. So I tried to pin it into that of like, are you tired of this Griswold chaos? Like, let us at SwiftServe take care of the lights for you. And yeah, we kind of did some cool B-roll. I was putting the lights up on his house, the Santa hat, the whole 9 yards. And he has like a fancy studio with like lights he can do, and it's actually a teleprompter. So that's how I was able to like really dial in the reading of the ad, is because he has a teleprompter, which is super cool, by the way. Made it only had to do two takes to get it perfect. But yeah, a lot of my clients have said they've seen that ad, and they thought that was pretty funny. So
It came out great. It
thanks.
maybe I'll ask for a teleprompter for my next episode of Titan Talks.
Yeah.
It was very natural.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question. Now that you are succeeding with SwiftServe, would you ever see yourself going back to a desk job?
No, never. Yeah, I can't imagine like being my own business. One of the guys in the group, she always says it's like I just couldn't imagine asking like another grown man to take a day off. I don't know. It's like kind of the like I know there are like one of my past company we did have a cool vacation policy, like no one really cared, but like it's kind of that concept. It's like if I wanted to take a day off, I could, or if like a couple weekends ago, like we went to, being from Colorado area Broncos fans, so like we went out to Seattle to see them play out there. It's like if I want to take a random weekday to go do something or whatever, I can. So it'd be hard to like sit where I'm sitting here for 8 hours, like clicking away, like where it's like when I'm doing my own business, like I'm always out and about, I'm driving around, I'm interacting. I've got to see some pretty beautiful places in the state. Yeah, I couldn't imagine it. So
Awesome. There you have it. Noah Leach with SwiftServe. Thank you for coming on Titan Talks. It was absolutely awesome talking to you and getting to know you and your business.
yeah, thanks for having me, Sam. Really appreciate it.